The Ugly Duckling. Don't judge a book by its cover. One day there lived a duck near a pond, who was about to lay her very first eggs. She was an anxious new mother, and she sat on her eggs day and night, patiently waiting for them to open. Then one morning she heard the sound from under her. Crack, crack, crack. Small yellow ducklings slowly began to come out from their eggs, and they waited for their brothers and sisters until the very last one. The last egg had not moved yet since the morning, and the mother duck was worried. "Can we go into the pond now?" one duckling asked. "Not yet," the mother duck replied. She looked at the egg and thought it looked a little strange. It was grayer and bigger than the other small white eggs. But then it began to crack, and when it opened, all the ducks looked in shock. The baby bird was bigger than her other babies. His feathers were grayer, his beak was longer, and he made the strangest sound. "Oh, he's so ugly," one duckling said, and all the other ducklings laughed and quacked, making the gray duckling very sad. The mother duckling became embarrassed when all the other ducks in the pond pointed and laughed. So the mother duck told the ugly duckling to stay in the nest, while the other ducklings learned to swim, quack, and bathe in the pond. That night, when all the ducks around the pond were asleep, the ugly duckling decided that he would find a family that would love him. So he waddled through the night until it was morning, and he found another pond with other duck families. Feeling excited, he swam to the family. "What are you?" the mother duck asked. "You look so ugly," the father duck said, making the ducklings laugh and quack. The ugly duckling felt sad and embarrassed again, so he left that pond and nearby found another pond. But this time, there lived a family of geese. "Hi," the ugly duckling said to the gosling. "Who are you?" asked the mother goose. "He's ugly," said a gosling, and the family of geese honked. But before the ugly duckling could swim away, the father goose stopped him. "You might be ugly, but you can stay with our family," the father goose said. And the ugly duckling could not be happier. The geese were very kind to him for many days and nights, even if their honking hurt his ears. Many days passed, and he began to grow larger and stronger and whiter than before. Things were great with the goose family until a hunter came and began shooting at all the birds. All the birds panicked and flew away, but the ugly duckling was still not big enough to fly, so he ran as fast and as far as he could. He finally found a small house where a couple of farmers lived. "Great! A duck! One day it can give us eggs," said the farmer. But as the winter came closer, the ugly duckling did not lay any eggs for the farmers and grew too big for the house. So when winter came, the farmer sadly told the ugly duckling to leave. It was a sad and lonely time for the ugly duckling. Many cold days passed, and the pond was frozen completely, so it was difficult to find food. But he was lucky and survived the winter. Then the days became warmer, and the pond began to melt, so the ugly duckling waddled to the water to get some good food. But then he saw a group of the most beautiful birds he had ever seen swimming and enjoying the pond. He did not have the courage to ask these birds if he could join them. He already knew that he was too ugly to live with ducks. He was too ugly to live with geese. He was too ugly to live with the farmers, and he was sure that he was too ugly to live with these beautiful birds. So he stayed on the land and put his head down, waiting patiently. "Wow, you have the whitest feathers I have ever seen," They look so beautiful in the sun, he heard a beautiful bird say. He looked up and saw that the bird was talking to him. Feeling confused, he walked closer to the pond and saw his face. To his surprise, he did not see the ugly duckling he was before, but a beautiful swan. His feathers were a beautiful white color. His beak was bright yellow and no longer ugly. Happier than ever, he swam into the lake and joined his new family as a